Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whichever part of the world you are joining us from, the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade welcomes you all for this exciting session on digital MSME. I am Ananya Banerjee Chatterjee, the R&D and Communication Officer for the CPIT, and your host for the evening. In the Global Alliance for Digital MSME (GADM), this session promises to be illuminating an exploration of how micro, small, and medium enterprises can leverage digital technologies and fuel their growth, reach new markets, and stay competitive in the global arena. In the dynamic landscape of today's business world, digital transformation is at the forefront of growth and innovation. You will get an incredible opportunity to empower your MSME with the knowledge and tools needed to thrive in the digital era. So let's begin with the session. And I would like to call our first speaker, Miss Jennifer Saunders, founder and CEO of Website Warriors. It is an Australian based website design agency with expertise in search engine optimization and provided WordPress web design services, website renovations, and security and maintenance. Website Warrior founder Ms. Jennifer has had a career in both large corporations and small businesses across Australia, gaining extensive experience in businesses, strategies, and solutions. She is able to transfer this knowledge and experience when working with clients for a more in depth understanding of their business's needs. Transport this into their website design building. Combining her creative flair for quality web design and her passion for supporting businesses that sleek online growth and successful scales conversations. Welcome, Ms. Jennifer. Over to you.
Thank you very much for having me today. So I'm just going to share my screen and we can begin. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see that. So thank you very much. I'm Jennifer Saunders from Website Warriors. I am the founder of Website Warriors. We are a digital agency focusing on website design and SEO. We do a lot of redesign works. And today I'd also like to share with you a little bit about our services and also about our journey. And then if we've got time, I might share some case studies as well with you. I find sometimes in this digital space, it's fantastic to provide some visuals. It really does help give some context behind the service and user experience, which I'll touch on as well. So first of all, I'd like to just talk a little bit about who we are, and I'll also talk a little bit about myself. So we are a digital agency, as I mentioned. We're supporting small to large businesses, and we also focus on businesses in all industries and professions and to increase their online presence and grow their business. So quite often I'm asked the question about, do we specialize in a particular niche, or are we looking at supporting a certain type of client or a certain direction? For us, we feel as though we can support wide and far. We do feel that it also benefits for us to take on every client as a very new experience, doing all their due diligence and helping them out in whatever industry. There's a lot of research that we need to do regardless of who our clients are to ensure that we can give them the best service and best outcomes. So we don't find that we have any limitations with industries. And we certainly do a lot of research, and we're quite thorough with our review. So happy to help anybody, really. And our main goal in Website Warriors is to transform your business online with responsive website designs. So I'll talk a little bit about me as well. So why did I get into website design? So I actually came from a corporate background. I've had 20 odd years in project management in strategic corporations. In those years, I learned a lot about strategy. I learned a lot about business growth and development and optimization to achieve great outcomes for our projects. I worked a lot in construction, and I worked a lot in the strategic, in commercial sense as well. Within that time, I found that people want to change their plans in life. They want to try something new. I've always found that the digital world is very exciting. It's fast paced and it's growing a lot. And what I really liked about this was not just about creating a pretty website. There are a lot of pretty websites out there, but also a lot of people can't find them. And also my view is that a website is also a strategic plan on a page for companies. So this is their opportunity to put themselves out there on the web 24/7, which is something that no employee can do for them. So they're promoting themselves 24/7. And it's a way to ensure that we get the message across from their business very, very quickly. So as you can see up on my slides here, people can identify whether or not they want to stay on a website page within 3 seconds. They've already made a judgment. So part of that strategy that we're finding from our corporate experiences and building that up into a strategy for website design is really to ensure that, one, when your website is up, that people know exactly what service or product that you're offering as soon as they click on the page. The second item as well is that you need to be found. So if you're going to have an online presence, it's best to have SEO and be able to get traffic to your page to generate leads. So it's really important that, one, you're found, two, that people know what they're looking for. And with a bounce rate of 3%, if you can hold them for longer and as they start to work through the website, you've got more chance of gaining their longer term experience with you and hopefully sales with you as well. You become more of an authority when you've got information on your page that is helpful to your customers and keeps them reading through your website and contacting you. So we found that to be our reason and our niche for starting the business. And we have found so far that that has proven to be a very good angle for us, really focusing on that SEO and that strategic sense. We prefer to use WordPress and Shopify for all of our web builds. We can support in other platforms, but we do prefer WordPress and Shopify. The reason for that is also because of SEO. It's the better chance of having SEO working with your website. So that's really the key. We can always do transfers from other platforms to a WordPress platform for individuals if they need, but we do, we do recommend ultimately WordPress and Shopify. So I guess, touching on that as well, good design is really another angle that we really need to focus on when we're doing website designing and developing. So user experience is a word that quite often is mentioned in website design. And really that is about the ability for people to be able to work through the website with ease, find what they're looking for with ease, and hopefully being a return customer and also making a sale. So we find that if a website isn't useful on a mobile phone or isn't useful on a desktop, a lot of people will bounce off. They just won't stick around. People are impatient these days. So it is really important. To talk about what services we provide, so I've already touched on that we do design and development. We do a lot of redesign works and renovations, and we do e-commerce as well. So if you do want an online store, SEO, and we do website security and maintenance. And I'm going to touch on those in greater detail now. So first of all, with website design, we find it really is about understanding our client, and to walk you through the process that what we go through with every client. We understand what their business is about and what problems that they're seeking to solve. So we go through a questionnaire with every client to understand the ins and outs of the business. And we sometimes ask them questions that they're not 100% certain on. services that they're doing, and they might then think, oh, well, do you know, I thought my service was this, but we also do offer this as well. And so we're actually tapping into certain areas to bring out the best of the business, to put that on the page. We also go through their marketing strategy. We want to know the details around how are they currently marketing their business, or what are they proposing to market for their business? Are they doing online advertising? Are they doing advertising in, old-fashioned traditional senses as well? And also, what is their budget? What are they looking to focus on in the future? Social media is a big angle that people like to focus on, but I guess as well, we also can focus on so many different areas of marketing that we really need to talk it through, because there's so many different versions that we can look into. We also like to understand the industry market itself that the client is in, and also the business's pain points. So do they have some particular concerns at the moment? And to give an example, they might come to me and say, we have a website, it's 5 years old, we've never had much traffic to this website, or, we feel that we've got a shop presence and most people just come to the shop. They don't even know we're online. And we need to understand those things so that we can identify the pain points and we can help them. So it's really important. And I guess that comes back to that whole strategic approach that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. That is really the key for me. And so it is a process that we go through. We do also analyze visitor demographics and user behavior to create a website, and that they'll respond positive to it as well. And we're looking to discuss website ideas, color schemes. We like to talk about particular images that we might want to use, or certain reference points around the business itself and what we're trying to portray. And sometimes we find too that by going through these questions with the individuals, we also want to bring out the personality of the company. So whether it's the owner or whether or not it's the company, we also want to find that out, because that creates part of the creativity on the page as well. And at the end of the day, our main goal is that our clients love their website. They feel a sense of connection with their website. So that really is important. Otherwise, they're not going to like it, and they're not going to feel proud of it, and will probably look for a renovation at some point. So it's really critical that they like it and they feel it represents their business. In the design itself, we focus on eye-catching bespoke designs. We don't tend to do cookie cutter designs. We like to, again, focus on what that client wants and how we can put that individual on the business page or the company on the page. One of the big things that we're always conscious of is first impressions. So this is where if somebody's clicking, a visitor comes and clicks on a page, they need to feel within the first 3 seconds that they want to stay on the page. Everybody's so impatient these days. If a website doesn't load within 3 seconds, you're already out. So it needs to load very quickly, and it also needs to be really easy to read and get the message across. And so that is a real talent in itself, to get that right. And that's something that we really do focus a lot of energy on to make sure that we get it right for the client. Design functionality for the user experience is also key. If they're clicking through pages and they can't get back to the home page, that's a problem. If they're clicking through and they can't actually access the cart, or things aren't loading properly, or they can't find contact details, or they don't actually know where the address is, or there's a shipping requirement but there's no details around shipping. It's actually amazing when you do an audit of a website, all the things that you can find when you're looking for it, and that can really identify where a website isn't doing so well. So to touch on that as well, we also do a lot of redesign work and renovations. So one service that Website Warriors provide anybody that calls us is a free website audit. So if you are not happy with your current website, you can always give us a call and we will do a free audit. That involves a cosmetic review of the website. So I'll look at the user experience. identify whether or not the content's suitable, the photos are suitable, the layout is suitable. But we also go into the back end and we understand technically whether or not the website is functioning well, whether or not the maintenance has been maintained or has been let to slide for some years. And we also do an SEO audit. So some people will say that they've got SEO in their website and they may not have that. Or we may find that they only have a little bit and it's not the best. So we share all that. We're very transparent with what our findings are. And it's a free service that we put up a report. And then you have the opportunity to then decide whether or not proceed with a renovation, or if you want to do any of those particular requirements. Another way we also look at websites is a website is like a human body. So you'd go to the doctor every so often and get a checkup, and with websites people forget it's still something that has functionality in there that can fall over. Sometimes plugins malfunction, sometimes they're not compatible with upgrades on other features, and things can fall over, even links can break. So you do need to check your website regularly, and we do offer a service to do that as well for people. A lot of renovation work has come out of COVID, I initially found, because a lot of shops were then deciding that they needed to transfer their shop front to an online store. A lot of people found that they had additional services that they were offering during lockdowns in COVID that they then wanted to provide as an additional service going forward. And there's all these different elements, as well as a lot of people have very, very old websites as well that they just need to modernize, also to keep up with their competitors. So we've done a lot of renovations. We find it really interesting to find out what's working, and also to benchmark against competitors and understand what's out, who else is out there in the market, what are they doing, how are they ranking, what are they ranking for, and also talking to our clients about how we can improve their positioning as well. So it's really important to us. We listen to our clients. It's really important that they are heard and that they get out of their website what they want. There's obviously a fine line between some things that we find a client might want and may not be the best outcome for the website in terms of trafficability and things like that. But it's a discussion point, and it's always good to have those, and we work through it together. So there's a lot of communication, and we do lots of progress meetings, and even in an ongoing sense, we provide ongoing relationship support to help grow their business longer term. So they're the kind of the key things around website redesign. But we also do offer e-commerce development. So a lot of people will have an online store, and with that, we usually suggest that Shopify is the best process for that. So we will set up for you a full functioning website that's an e-commerce store with different payment modes as well. You can create promotions if you want. We can track sales conversions as well for you. And if you prefer still a WordPress website with that element, we can certainly do that with a WooCommerce plugin. But there are some limitations around that depending on the size of the store. So it's always good to have a free consultation and understand what is best for your business and what is best for your website, particularly if you're looking at the longer term plan. A lot of people always think about the moment and what they're doing this year. And I find too that it's also important to understand what is your business's 1-year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, and can we adapt the website and grow the website to support that as well. And we find WordPress and Shopify really good for that. I've got a little tip on there I found really interesting when I was doing this presentation a little while ago, which said that 67% of online shopping carts are abandoned before a customer completes a sale. Now, I find that really interesting because a lot of people they'll go and shop and they'll browse and they'll dream about what they actually want to purchase. But when it actually comes to finalizing the cart and they see the full cost in there, they do often abandon it. but it goes to show that it's more than half of clients that will go and abandon their carts. So this is then an area that we can look at to say, okay, well, how can we actually get that client to follow through on the sale? Do we send them a pop-up to remind them that they've got something in their shopping cart? Do we send them an email alert 24 hours later to say, just a reminder, there's something in your shopping cart, you might still like to get it? We might offer a promotion of 10% discount as something that they might look at if they choose to move off the website. So there's all these different tactics that we can look at as well to help reduce that abandonment of your shopping cart. Another really big factor that we need to look at as well is Google Analytics. So whenever you're in a website design or development stage, or even a renovation, we're looking at Google Analytics to first of all understand your traffic, the geography of the traffic, to understand some of the particulars around the behavior of the visitors. What pages are they going to? How long are they staying on the pages? Why are they actually dropping off and not following through on a sale? We like to understand all those and understand human behavior so that we can adopt some changes to our website designs to help the client build their online customer sales, their leads. SEO. And so this is a big part of our business. We pride ourselves on SEO services. And maybe what I should do is also tell you what SEO is for those that aren't aware of it. So SEO is an acronym for search engine optimization. So search engine optimization is really about trying to gain your position in Google to rank your page. So everybody's ultimate goal is to rank on page 1 of Google. And it's obviously a very hard thing to do, particularly when there's more and more paid ads coming out that is ranking everyone lower down the page after the ads. However, there are always opportunities that we can rank you for certain keywords and a higher ranking than others. And so it's a real SEO is a mix between science and art to get that mix right and to add that into your back end of your website to help you grow. Now, SEO is not an instant fix. It can take 6 to 12 months for it to start to really grow into your system. So what we always suggest is to do that as soon as possible. And hopefully we do prefer that it's also done in the build. So as soon as, if you're interested in building a new website, it's best to do the SEO in parallel, because we can actually incorporate that into the actual build itself. It's a lot harder once it's already built. We can't go changing certain elements of the foundations of the website, but we certainly can do that earlier on. So it really is about then increasing the opportunity for people to come to find your website to fulfill whatever they have typed into the search engine. And it really, again, comes down to human behavior. One big thing that we're always thinking about is, what are the clients typing into Google? What are the words that they're suggesting to actually, to find you? And so it's quite an interesting little process to find that out. But you can really certainly find some nuggets in there as well that we can add into the back end of your website and help get that ranking very quickly. So again, it's all about sales conversions. We also do recommend ongoing SEO updates and definitely an annual SEO update. Some people think that once they've got SEO in their website, that's it, they're good. Now, everything's changing. The digital world is changing all the time. Your competitors are updating theirs. They're updating their website. They're updating their SEO. It's a constant process of making sure that you can benchmark and keep progressing along with them or outranking them. So you don't want to be left behind. And, sometimes to pay a little bit for SEO, you can actually have some incredible sales on the other side. And it's really worthwhile to get your presence out there. Another thing we also offer within Website Warriors is copywriting services. And that is because a lot of the content that is included on a website page can incorporate SEO keywords as well. So there's a real fine line between adding in certain keywords and also making it look organic and readable as opposed to spammy. So we often provide our clients with the content solution as well, just to ensure that it's professionally written, it's also clear and easy for people to read. We do find a lot of clients that might initially say, oh, it's okay, I'll write it, I know my business. But the reality is when people, they do know their business, but sometimes it's a bit too close to home. And you can always miss the point too about what it is that you're actually providing, because you automatically think that and you're not clear enough to the audience that need to understand the real basics around what it is. So sometimes it's good to kind of step back and have somebody else write it and to review that. And we're working with our clients as well to make sure that they like the content, but it is sometimes better to have that professionally written. And not everybody is good at writing content either. So it's also a way to be able to outsource the entire project. Website Warriors can help with that. To touch on as well, so with website security and maintenance support, this is something that we offer as an ongoing for our clients. So we might have built their website, or they may have a website that's a few years old that they might have been maintaining, or another website designer might have been maintaining for it, but for whatever reason that isn't happening anymore. We will maintain that website for them. And the reason it is important to do so is because it's really about ensuring that your website is live 24/7. So if your website crashes and you need to find someone to call, you are potentially missing out on sales while your website is down. So if you've got our service, we are constantly checking if there's a broken link, it's immediately fixed. If your website's down, we immediately fix that. So you're really de-risking things for yourself by having a professional service that ensures that your website is there 24/7. It's not just about the fact, and it's sad to see people losing potential sales as a result of a website being down, but it's around website credibility. So if you've got a brand that you're very proud of with your business and it's out there and you want people to recognize that brand and your website's down, it makes the quality of your website look poor, and that can also have bad reflection on your business. And even though that may not be the intention, it could be the perception of some visitors. So it's really important to ensure that you have a great presence all the time with your website. So we take backups of your website regularly. We do performance analysis checks. We do audits. We also do speed tests. So if your website's loading in 10 seconds, and coming back to my 3-second rule that people jump off your website after 3 seconds, they don't wait. If your website's loading in 10 seconds, it's too late. It's too late. So we can help you also speed up your website load and ensure that everything is loading up within 3 seconds, and ensures that everybody's happy and able to connect. So it's really important to do that. And so I find that this is a really important service that a lot of people don't either consider or don't value until something does go wrong, and then they realize the importance of having security and maintenance. And also touching on the security angle, if your website is hacked, and everybody should have an SSL certificate attached to their website, but they should also have some brute force attack protection on your website. So if your website's attacked, you could potentially have some private information made available to a hacker, or it could be that they can actually take your website and redirect it somewhere else. They can actually take your website and move it, that you may actually not be able to gain control again. So there's ways to lock things down as well. It's really important to be able to do it. Again, it comes back to how much you value your business. And speaking of, your website is actually an asset of your business. I think years ago, people used to think that a website was just a tick box exercise to say, we have the business, really important that it's, on the ground business, and a website's a tick box to show, yes, we have a presence. Nowadays, it is absolutely crucial to have a website, and a functional, good website, for credibility of the business. A lot of people do due diligence checks. And even when they're researching in those initial stages, you have to remember too that people, if they're after a certain service, they will be browsing for quite some time, depending on what that service is, before they purchase. So you want to ensure that you've got the best user experience there possible, to make sure that people, once they've done their research, they come back to you to purchase that goods or service. Just to touch on here, so I've probably already mentioned about a few things about here, but people, when they're looking at your website, they don't scroll very much, and they don't like clicking around too much. The minimal clicks possible is the better way to go. And it's really about, people read your website in a Z pattern. So they start off from the top left, and they go to the right, and then they go down. So if you've got a lot of text right at the very bottom of your page, people won't necessarily read that far down. You've got to have all of your key information above the fold. It is the prime real estate, that first glance of your website. So utilize that space. Your call to action must also be very clear and visible. It needs to be obvious and clickable, and especially on a mobile phone. People are not going to type in your mobile number to call you. It must be a clickable button. So again, that comes down to user experience, and it's something we check when we're doing our reviews. There's lots of things there as well, and we can always talk through with clients about any audits that they might want to have done to their website, but there's some particulars in here as well. So just touching on that headings and lists break up parts of the web page as well, and attract attention. A lot of people just browse, so beware of that too. Don't put a lot of content in one spot. Try and break it up with some images and paragraphs. And sometimes visitors spend more time looking at the menus and buttons than any part of the website. So you need to have full content on there, but you also need to do it in a way that'll fast track for those that are impatient. It's really important to know your competition and to browse their websites. Whenever we do an audit, I always ask for a company's top 4 to 5 competitors, and we go and research those as well. What are they doing differently? Do they have a good web experience or not? It's really important to understand that, and particularly around mobile devices. I think when I wrote this presentation, there's been a move now, but majority of people are using their mobile phones over desktop. So it's really important that you've got a mobile friendly website. And that is not something that everybody offers. It is something you sometimes, when you're building a website, have to ask for. It is not something that everybody automatically knows to ask for either. We ensure as well with Website Warriors that we identify everything that is necessary to get the best quality outcome of your website. So again, we incorporate all these features in the scope of work. We list everything out. It's very concise. So it's important that you get the best for your website. We do connect it to Google Analytics, and we also do track it for a while as well to ensure that everything's loading and cementing into the system. Again, we touched on hacking and ensuring that your website's backed up. And we also do hosting and domain support as part of our maintenance package. So if you would like us to manage your hosting for you and your maintenance, please give us a call. We also suggest too, now this is just very important as a tip, a lot of people do not know their admin login details to their website. My tip to everyone today is, if you don't know, please ask your website designer. If something was to ever happen and you can't contact your website designer, you cannot access your website. It is really critical that you can access. We always, even though we may maintain your website, you will always have full access, because you may not want to go in there and touch it, but in the circumstance that something goes wrong, it is always critical that you have access. It is your asset. Now, I think I have run out of time. Please tell me if that's true. Have I? I think you're on mute.
You can proceed and complete, no problem.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, look, I won't go through any of these examples in great details, but I'm just going to touch on a few here. So if I go, for instance, this is just one example that I really love the idea of. Now, I don't know, and so very quickly, I don't know what your thoughts are as to what that website is about, but that website is for a dentist. Now you can see by the little toothbrushes there in the can, but you've got a pop-up. So we can't even see the website. We can only see a pop-up. So that's one click to turn off that banner. Then you finally go up into the page. Now, this is actually another dentist website, and I found this one really interesting. When I saw this website page, I thought it was for car insurance or maybe travel. I didn't understand that it's for a dentist. So again, my message today is ensure that your website represents your business, your product, and your services, and make sure that you're getting the message right, because otherwise people, if they're looking for a dentist and they come here, they might think that they've clicked on the wrong page for whatever reason and they'll bounce off, so they won't actually contact you. So just make sure, and look, that's something we can always give feedback on as well, but I really did find that particular one as a nice way to kind of get the message home. And we've got a few more here, which I won't waste your time on, and a few examples. But look, from us at Website Warriors, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to everyone today. Please check out our website, and please give us a call if you have any questions at all. If you'd like any advice, we do offer free consultations to talk through a potential audit. So don't hesitate to call us for any of your needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Jennifer, for your time. Thank you so much. Next, we have Mr. Badrinath Nagaraja, CEO and co-founder, Virtue Consulting. He brings over 2 decades of unparalleled expertise in cloud adoption, digital transformation, and technical innovation. Under his leadership, Virtue has emerged as a leading SaaS provider with a rich history of steering projects across government, pharmaceutical, and finance sector. Mr. Bhutri has a knack for leading diverse teams globally, ensuring timely and budgeted delivery. His certificates, PGF, Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Scrum methodologies underscore his commitment to excellence. He is passionate about reading and eager to delve into technology, having worked across the UK, India, Europe, Canada, and the USA. His cross-cultural experience fueled his drive for innovation and adapting to various perspectives. Welcome, Mr. Nagaraja, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ananya. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Well, my name is Badri. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Virtue. I'm thrilled to be here to discuss a critical topic today about the business landscape. Bear with me, it's one of the hottest days here in the UK, and it's summer, so I'll be drinking water in between. But thank you for the opportunity. Let me share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Right. So as I said, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Virtue. What Virtue? It's basically a state-of-the-art virtual event platform, provides unparalleled customization and flexibility, empowering the SMEs to host engaging and impactful events. There are plenty of virtual event platforms in the market. How we are different from them is we have a dedicated hosting, we have a white label product, and our feature itself talk about how we are different. We started, we founded this company in 2022 along with two of my partners. We are headquartered here in the London and United Kingdom. So our platform is highly customizable, white labeled virtual event platform. The key features involves poll, survey, quiz, gamification, multi-language support, and detailed analytical dashboard. Can I, is that audible? Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, it's changed.
So correct. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Currently, the challenges of virtual event is, there are plenty of virtual event platforms in the industry, but the challenges is engagement and interaction. Especially the audience who join the event lack the engagement, in the sense where they want to communicate with others, they want to drop their visiting cards, or they want to get more information about the products that are being displayed. So that engagement and interaction with the booth owners is lacking in the existing platforms. That's where we come in. We have one-to-one chat, one-to-one video chat, one-to-one audio chat. That's the difference between existing and our platform. And plus, the users doesn't know how to navigate through the platform. So every time there won't be anyone who can guide them how to navigate through the virtual event platform. So there would be some technical difficulties. So the solution we come up is, before any virtual event starts, we send out a email to the audience about how the event would look like, how to navigate, if there are any technical clarifications, how to get in with the support team. And most importantly, most of the virtual events happen for the marketing department, wherein they want to generate lead. So the more you personalize the content, the more marketing leads will be generated. So most of the virtual event platforms lack the personalization. So our platform in such a way that 100% can be customized, in the sense anywhere you can have a message across the screen. There won't be any safe area as such. So that's one big feature that distinguish from existing platform users. And then our platform is scalable. So the platform can be used, if there are about 1,000 users or 10,000 users, the platform will not going to give up. So it can be easily scaled depending on the number of users who will be attending the event. And our platform is very rich with analytics, and we can track how many users have joined the platform, which user is in which booth, what they are doing, what they are seeing, how many minutes they have watched a video, what was the response to the poll, survey, quiz, and how they have interacted with the booth owners, how they have interacted with other users. So you get a lot of analytics. So that is one more return on investment that most of the event organizers would be looking for. So with our platform, we give superior user experience, and then compared to other platform providers, we are much more cost effective and feature effective as well. And adaptability, depending on the users, we adapt very well. So the image, be it the configuration of the messages, or the support, we are quite adaptable to the client. Right. Coming back to today's topic about digital MSME. So I just wanted to, see micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is just a trend. It's a business imperative. So over a few minutes, I'll walk you through what is MSME, the key technologies involved, and the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead for the digital MSME. Significance of MSME. MSME plays a major role in the economy. MSME is always the backbone of an economy. In most of the emerging economies, like 60% of the employments comes from around the MSME, and 40% of the national income is through the MSME. So MSME is a very crucial factor for any industry, for any country, for that matter. So the digital transformation paradigm involves integration of digital technologies into all aspects of business. It's about fundamentally changing how we operate and deliver value to the customers. So in today's world, digital transformation is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not about automating existing process, but reimagining them to be more efficient and customer-centric. So key technologies that are transferring MSME are mainly, the cloud computing, the e-commerce platform, AI and data analytics, blockchain and mobile payments as well is some of the things which are transforming the MSME. So with the advent of clouds, Azure, AWS, and GCP, access to the servers and the resources is very much easily available, and in terms of the cost as well, it is like 1/10 of the earlier what we used to have a physical servers. So virtual servers are much more cost effective. It is like having a supercomputer in your pocket. So the cloud computing is much more beneficial. Let me take that. When it comes to challenges and opportunities with the digital MSME, digital transformation is not without a challenge. When we have all our systems on the cloud, cybersecurity is a significant concern, and data privacy as well. With that, most of the cloud providers are providing data centers in most of the countries. So the challenges are mitigating in terms of data security and privacy. However, the opportunity as well for outweighs the challenges, because the opportunities that digital MSME is getting outweighs the challenges that are there. Sorry. Yeah. In summary, just to sum it up, digital technologies are tools and catalysts for change. They enable MSMEs just to survive, but not just to survive, but to thrive as well. Thank you. If there are any question and answers, I'm happy to take.
Thank you, Mr. Nagaraja, for sharing such useful information. Next, we have Ms. Odiron Golitsa, Honorary Mission Director at the Global Workforce Development Council. She is an esteemed entrepreneurship development specialist, university lecturer. She brings 15 years of invaluable experience working with large private and public sector institutions in Botswana, South Africa. Currently, she is serving as a business coach development services for Chiaka Consulting, South Africa, where she is responsible for adding value to the Brains Trust team. She also serves as a training facilitator for the African Technology Innovation Hubs initiative at Field Labs. Welcome, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. In Africa, we are closing the Climate Change Africa Week. Therefore, it was important that when we are looking at the digital SMME, we need to appreciate the climate change perspective. Our presentation is going to be looking at the role of digital technologies in transforming the micro, small, and medium enterprises. And we're also going to appreciate the success stories of businesses that have harnessed the digital tools to a remarkable growth in their enterprises. And we are also going to be able to appreciate the strategies and recommendations for micro, small, and medium enterprises to embark on their digital transformation journey. And lastly, we are going to have a networking session where we can interact with SMMEs and other experts in the industry in that regard. Next slide, please. And then in climate change, we are referring to the average long-term changes over the entire Earth. These include warming temperatures and changes in precipitation, as well as earth warming, such as rising sea levels, ice melting at a faster rate than usual. And then we also experience some flowers changing patterns in terms of their blooming times. And then we are going to go further to appreciate the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which really shapes up our discussions and how to go about going through the impact or reducing the impact of climate change in our respective countries. The United Nations framework sets out the basic legal framework and principle for international climate change cooperation with the aim of stabilizing the atmospheric emissions of greenhouse gases to avoid dangerous catastrophic interference with the climate system. This framework is an international process for negotiating agreements on climate change. We have seen over the years countries assembling and having an intention and a dialogue around climate change issues and their impacts in our livelihoods, and how do we go about into mitigating as well as doing what you call adaptation in our enterprises. It is actually a series of agreements that has been reached out on promoting adaptation, including establishing international funding for adaptation. Like I said, that over the years, they had conventions, different conventions. In 1992, they met. They also met in 1997 through the Kyoto Protocol. And then in 2015, we went further to appreciate what you call the Paris Agreement, which is a vehicle that you're actually using now. The Paris Agreement really seeks to enhance the implementation of this particular framework including its objectives into combating or reducing, if not eliminating at all, the impacts of climate change in that regard. Next slide, please. Next. Then we are going to sit and appreciate the climate change and its impacts. Each and every single business and each and every single household experience some impacts in one way or the other. So here are some of the hazards that we are experiencing and their impacts. We have temperature, we experience temperature variability, and that also can affect our crop production. It can affect our livelihoods. It can affect even our lifestyles in terms of entertainment, heat stress as well, and then heat waves and wildfires as well in terms of issues of temperature. And then with the water, like we said, we are experiencing changing precipitation patterns, and therefore that also tempers with the agricultural sector, in the sense that people would not be able to plow as intended. And therefore we need to sit down and have a conversation with SMMEs on how to go about addressing these issues that can affect water, which we know is actually a livelihood in every living thing, be it a human being or an animal or a plant. And then we also experience water stress due to some of the issues that like salty water that also tempers production in terms of crop production. And then we can also experience drought due to this unreliable rainfall and changes in rainfall patterns that you're experiencing due to climate change. And over and above that, we can also experience floods that can also impact livelihoods and also disturbs infrastructure that we see our SMMEs operating their businesses in. And then in terms of wind, we also have changing wind patterns as well. We have cyclone, we have hurricane, and also storms. All these also have this type of business interruptions that I've just alluded. And then in terms of land, we are experiencing soil degradation and erosion. We are also experiencing ecosystem and biodiversity loss in that regard. There has to be a balanced ecosystem for us to allow nature to take its course. Therefore, it is important that in each and every single thing that you are doing as entrepreneurs, we have to also look at the effects of climate change and how to reduce them so that they don't cause the business disruptions. Some of the business disruptions that you're experiencing as entrepreneurs, or just communities that those entrepreneurs really operate from, impacts of human health and loss of livelihoods. Like we have said that in terms of floods, we sometimes experience people losing their houses, and then also some go to an extent of loss of lives. And then also in terms of having to sweep out the crops in their farms, we also see them having to lose livelihood in terms of household income that is brought on board by those particular setups that they have been venturing into as part of their livelihood. Due to high temperatures, we also experience more rapid or spread of pests and vector-borne and waterborne diseases, either for animals or human beings. So at the end of the day, this disrupt our businesses in the sense that if our human resource is not really well due to rapid spread of certain diseases like malaria, they would not be able to come to work as we initially intended or thought. And that on its own brings business disruptions. Therefore, it is important that we need to sit down and look at how do we reduce distance so that business do not get disrupted by these impacts that we've just mentioned. Reduced agricultural productivity and food security as well is one of the business disruptions that we experience in the agricultural sector. We need to also sit down and have a discussion as digital SMMEs. What is it that we need to do as solutions that can now still enable us to have good food security in our day-to-day operations? Reduction in water availability, water quality, and water security as well, like I've said, in terms of rainfall patterns having to disrupt businesses in that regard. And then I've also mentioned earlier on in terms of damages to physical infrastructure, property, and critical services. We see people have what you call human mobility, people moving from one area to another to try and reach out to a different area once their livelihoods have been affected by either floods or storms or whatever that could be. So at the end of the day, that also moves the potential customers in the areas that our SMMEs are operating in. And these business disruptions are not really good for our businesses in that regard. Next slide. And you're going to appreciate the role of digital technologies in transforming the micro, small, and medium enterprises. Digital technology is an enabler. It enables us to collect, process, and store data. And remember that the data, it is also important in decision-making processes of all organizations that exist. There are solutions such as in artificial intelligence, blockchain, and other opportunities really that present we have earlier on heard from entrepreneurs that are having digital solutions that are doing website development so that they can have a remote work or remote way of offering their services to the people. These opportunities also include market entry. It enables people to really appreciate that with digital way of doing business, you can access certain markets that you were not privy to if you are not doing it the digital way. And also we see more of them also participating in global value chains and then also in international trade among others. The role of digital technologies in transforming SMMEs is very broad as per different sectors. Here are some, not really all, sectors that can be transformed by SMMEs or micro, small, and medium enterprises. In education, we have seen people through post-COVID more appreciating the digital platforms in terms of accessing education resources. They also have a huge impact in people being present and intentional in the global space through the remote way of working. These educational platforms that we are having currently, as we are here now having a session that we can have a dialogue. I'm in Africa and another one is India, another one is in the UK. So this also poses an access to information and access to education that can change livelihoods in the areas that you operate, in all the communities, and in that regard transforms the economy of the countries that we operate in. Socially, this also enables people to stay in touch in terms of friends, families, and also, like I mentioned, being able to work remotely. You also tend to have a way of how to really interact with your co-workers in a different country. Currently, I am residing in Botswana and also working for South Africa and for Nigerian organizations, but I am able to interact with them on a daily basis and let the work get done while you are distant or you are not in that mother country of the organizational operation. And then in terms of health, we are experiencing centralized filing systems on health records of patients. We see patients' health records being tracked, and that also prevents and lower healthcare costs. Because it is very costly when you go to see a health facility, or you go to a health facility and you start afresh when you have to move along with your mobile or physical patient record. But with the digital platforms, we experience in private hospitals more often having a centralized system where they can capture information on patients, and then also can be able to monitor and manage other chronic conditions that people may experience. And in the agricultural sector, we see people having to previous slide, please. In agriculture, we see people having to collect and analyze data from their farms to maximize their harvest. And then the digital agricultural technologies enables people to be able to monitor factors such as moisture content, nutrient trends, soil composition, wind patterns, and also others are using drones in their farms for forest control. And then the digital technology really contributes immensely in mitigation of greenhouse gas emissions, like we have said, and then also enables people to have monitoring and forecasting in that regard. Here are success stories of some of the SMMEs that are intentional about digital transformation. Previous slide, please. We have Ntabiseng, who is residing in Sierra Leone, having Easy Solar as her venture, which distributes solar energy solutions and improve lives of people in Sierra Leone businesses and households. And then the next one, we see Marianne in Kenya. This is an agri-tech analytics who is in the data-driven company that supports small-scale farmers to monitor their farms and crops using online platforms and mobile app. Here they are able to collect data and also monitor how crops really go about in terms of monitoring them through this online platform that has been brought on board by this entrepreneur in Kenya. In Cameroon, we are experiencing Casavita, owned by Pelkins. He has invested a breakthrough biotechnology for increasing the shelf life of the cassava plant from a 3 days to an 18-month period. You would remember that cassava is also an alternative to our normal wheat that we make our flours from. So cassava, when processed, it can also be able to address shortage of wheat, which we're experiencing in Africa. So at the end of the day, this biotechnology that has prolonged or increased shelf life of this cassava plant from 3 days to 18 days is really a good initiative in the climate change space that we are applauding this Cameroon entrepreneur for. Next slide, please. And then we also have, next slide, next one. We also have Pharmacio Technologies that provides tech solutions to various stakeholders in the agriculture value chain. They are based in Africa, Asia, and Europe. These people have solutions that can be able to track the moisture content of crops. It can also be able to track suppliers in the agricultural sector as part of the value chain. If you are looking for animal feeds, which are the stores that are available in whatever platform that is there as per the different application platforms that they have as solutions to people in terms of the suppliers that they are having as a database in that regard. So Pharmacio Technologies have a various or range of solutions in the agricultural value chain as part of the solutions in the climate smart tech solutions. And then in South Africa, we are experiencing Langa Zulu, who is in robotics. Next slide, please. who is called Algo at Work Robotics Academy. Algo at Work, they are the pioneering forefront of robotics and artificial intelligence education. Their goal is to unlock a child's potential for future. They nurture young people from the age of 8 to 18 years to be able to start appreciating technology at a younger age and take it from there. It can be out of school youth, and they also have students that are on a self-study mode that they are also able to assist in a midweek sessions, and those that are formal schooling, they are assisted on weekends. So these are some of the SMEs that we can look back and say, at the end of the day, in terms of digital transformation, they have really changed lives in the areas that they operate in. And the last entrepreneur there, we appreciate Kenneth Sitimela in Botswana, my country base of Leverage Point. He's advancing the growth of digitalization of small, medium, and enterprises with the use of custom software solutions, mobile and website development. It is important that we need to allow entrepreneurs to also know that remote way of doing business brings more market base, and it also brings more growth in their enterprises. So these are some of the solutions really that are intentional and robust in the digital transformation to allow people to come on board and explore more. Leverage Point also have assisted previously people who are in the sports fraternity in terms of having a database on their athletes, their weight, their height, their chronic illness, whatever critical or what we call vital statistics that needs to be there in an athlete has been captured in that particular platform, and it has bear fruits. They can also be able to track their nutrition, what is it that they need to do, and then also allow them to follow through even when they keep on being mobile or moving from one country to another in their sporting engagements. So those are some, not limited to, success stories of businesses that have harnessed digital tools to achieve their business growth. We need to applaud them for being intentional and changing the digital space in that regard. Here we are going to appreciate, lastly, the strategies and recommendations that we have for micro, small, and medium enterprises to embark on the digital transformation. It is important to know that in terms of strategy and leadership, we need to sit down as organizations, existing and new organizations. Those who are existing, they need to sit down and reevaluate their organizational strategies and align them to the digital transformation so that they can experience this growth that we have just shared. Those that are new, they need to sit down also and incorporate digital transformation in their journey as startups. Culture and change and communication. Communication becomes easier when you are using technology. You are able to have gadgets that you can also buy for your employees or for your organization, and then communication becomes faster in that regard. And then you also need to have the mindset change really in terms of the organizational culture on how people can have a buy-in in terms of now having to embrace a remote way of working than to have a physical office on board. That is also expensive for a venture to have people on board. Some are not really doing any more work as opposed to even when they are home. They can also be able to have either a hybrid or 100% remotely way of doing business. So those are some of the changes that in terms of cost benefits analysis, we can also sit down with SMEs and also embrace them, because we see those more in the corporates than in the small or micro medium enterprises. We need to also look at optimizing processes. We need to learn more and incorporate digitalization in the current organizational processes. We need to move away from more of printing than having to have a remote way of accessing processes in the organizations. That way also, in terms of an obsolete process, they can also not be able to use a process that is no longer in use because they are using a centralized way of accessing the processes that they are using in their in their day-to-day running of their businesses. So digital SMEs need to sit down and look at organizations that have processes in place, those that who are ISO certified, and then see how best can they work with them to embrace this optimization of processes. I've mentioned earlier on about data. Data assists organizations in making informed decisions. We are always having this slogan, better data, better lives, in the Secretariat, Paris 21 Secretariat and its associates. We are embracing data, and we have this dialogue that we say better data, better lives. Partners, we encourage SMEs to leverage on one another's strength so that they can also be able to complement each other. When you're an agri-scientist, you find a problem that needs an expertise in the information and technology professional. You need to sit down with that particular person, have a conversation, and see how best you can structure that particular solution and take it to another level in that regard. And then we also need to let them embrace being results-oriented. We need to, as micro, small, and medium enterprises, show value to organizations that we are lobbying or pitching our issues to, so that they can buy from us. Ensure that you bring value to them so that they can have a buy-in in your solution. Have a clear oversight of your financial position. Do not embark on something that you can maintain as an entrepreneur. It is important for business continuity and also for good what you call reputational risk, and keeping the reputational risk. In closing, we need to also appreciate the 17 Sustainable Development Goals as digital SMEs. And then these are also categorized or structured through the 5 pillars of the 2030 agenda: the people, the planet, the prosperity, the peace, and the partnership. The people, we are saying, out of these 17 pillars, we need to end poverty and hunger and ensure digital equality in a healthy environment. Some of them are aligned to people in that regard. And then some out of these 17 are for planet. Planet, we are saying we need to protect and the planet and natural resources and climate. And then in terms of prosperity, we need to ensure that we are prosperous and fulfilling lives in harmony with nature. And then with peace, we are saying we foster peaceful and inclusive society. And lastly, in terms of partnerships, that is why we are here today to say, let us embrace partnerships, let us leverage on each other's strengths. And we are saying implement the agenda through the global partnership. So remote way of working, a digital way of working, and being seen in forums that are really for you and are for your growth, really would bring more partnerships in your business growth. That is that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Pulitzer, for sharing such in-depth information with us. And I would like to thank all the participants for joining this knowledgeful session with us. Special thanks and gratitude to all the speakers who have shared their in-depth knowledge with us. And with this, we come to an end for today's session. And thank you once again for joining us from the entire TCPIT team. Thank you.